Why do Christians believe in aliens, UFOs, and things outside of our planet? Or do they? We'll find out on the Why Do Christians podcast. Hey, welcome to the show. My name is Mark Dickey. I host the afternoon show on the Bridge radio station. In this corner, a man, a pastor, who believes that aliens exist. Pastor Josh Dupiche.
Yeah, I do.
In this corner, a man who disagrees. Pastor Burt Miller.
Fervently. Yeah.
We have been thinking about and talking about this episode for months. And we're like, all right, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Are we really going to talk about it?
You know, the fact that you say we've been thinking and preparing it for months makes me feel so convicted about how little work I've done for this. Can I just get that out there? How about you?
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it's one of those topics in Christianity if it's like, we're just not going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Like you ask a pastor on Sunday morning and they'll just be like,
are you okay?
Yeah.
Let's talk about you. So aliens, UFOs. I mean, we've got a space force now.
I'm sure not for no reason. See? See? Because why would the richest nation in the world go, Space Force absolutely needed?
I can think of some reasons.
I could think
foreign threats.
Your reasons are
development of technology,
too earthly,
going to the new frontier.
Yes,
it's starting.
Okay,
it's preparation.
I see.
A shielding.
Okay.
From aliens.
I see.
I'm gonna get a little counter of the alien counter for every time we say aliens.
Ding.
All right, so we wouldn't be doing a good job if we didn't start in the most important place to start in every argument when it comes to Christianity. Let's look at the Bible. What does the Bible say about UFOs, little green men, other planets?
Burt, you first. Please make my point for me. Thank you.
You monster. Okay, so here's the deal. The Bible says nothing about extraterrestrial entities or anything like that. You could glean, and I would.
I'm gleaming.
Glean.
Glean on.
Glean on. There he is. There are passages where it talks about the angelic as being keepers and caretakers of the stars. And so it's not that all life in the universe is only happening on Earth, but the idea of sentient, physical created beings in the way that we sort of picture aliens is entirely absent from the scriptures. And I think there's actually a reason for that, because I think their existence goes against what the scriptures teach the nature of the universe is, and I can't wait for you to tell me why I'm wrong so I can tell you why I'm right.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to land that in aliens, but apparently you went a different direction.
Yeah.
So I would say we have no definitive statements about aliens. True. But we have a person that would do such a thing, I think. When I look at God,
what?
Let's God is this. He's not just like creator, like a lot of the other religions paint God. Like he just made
heaven and earth. Like he started and then left.
Yeah, yep. And or even that when he's presented, he's presented as like a creator of the universe, of stars, of lights, of a variety of animals, right? And so like you get this picture of an artist, of someone who likes to create. And so to say that this person who loves to create has limited himself to earth would not be true. I mean, just let's just look up, right? you see this massive, I mean, just all kinds of different kinds of stars. Like, if you did not care to be expressive, you would just be like, hey, let's just make everything, come on, let's just do order and be done. But he doesn't. He does beauty. He does like symmetry. He does all these other things. So all that to say is when I look at God, I see that he does far more than just create. He's an artist. He's at heart.
Okay.
That
If I may attack that, I would affirm God's delight in beauty.
Wonderful.
I think none of that leads to the conclusion that sentient beings are on other planets elsewhere in the universe. I think that's a leap. Secondly, okay, I think it also, like, you have the person, what they'll say is, listen, the universe is so vast and the earth is so small, seems like kind of a waste of space if we're all that there is out there. However, the more that we discover about the way the universe, the galaxy operates, we learn actually all of it is incredibly functional to keep life here happening. For instance, for life to exist on our planet, okay, means it needs to be in a solar system with other planets, so those other planets can be protective for said planet. So, so you don't have like a giant meteor destroying a planet where you want to keep life. You need another planet. We could call it Jupiter, that has a gravitational pull that would be pulling those kinds of meteors, asteroids into itself. You find that for there to be a planet to have light, warmth, the right kinds of conditions for life, it needs a specific kind of star, a specific point in its life, which our planet happened, like for that star to be there, ours happens to match that, but there are other galaxy conditions for that star to be in place. So it's and so like we see that just within our galaxy. You go, okay, well, the universe is bigger than our galaxy. We still don't know how all that stuff flows together. But the more that we discover, it turns out like no, that stuff actually is. It's not the Earth is the center of the universe in the sense of geographic location, but the universe that we know about does a lot of stuff for the Earth, or specifically the galaxy that we're in, the Milky Way. So I would be hesitant to embrace the idea of, hey, it's big and it'd be a waste of space, because that might not actually be true.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. My argument would come for more like God is creative. He's full of creativity, because I think we could see in creation, he has made animals that we will probably never see. Like, and that tells me something about that kind of a person, that if they're willing to spend their time and create something, no human eye will behold this, then creation's not necessarily just for humans. That there's that maybe in there that is really for his own creativity, for his own glory. Like, oh, look, like I've made this. And so my point I'm making is that one, that God's creative, he has made animals that we still have not seen. And we know that there's places we haven't been, creatures that were found in like 1950. Like, who makes a creature so tiny that he knows it's going to be thousands of years before one human goes, yo, what is that? Like, that's crazy. So I would say that's one. Two, that when we talk about life, I think in aliens, so I probably have a much more like narrower definition. So I would say things like life does not necessarily mean image of God. You have plants, you have trees, you have animals. And so aliens can be that there are other living creatures.
So you would, hold on.
So I would say
Nope. You don't get to roll past that. Hold on. So when you say other living creatures, do you believe that means sentient life with intelligence like human beings, perhaps going beyond it to the point of creating spaceships?
I mean, okay. So what are those things that knock down trees with their big teeth called?
Beavers.
Thank you. What are they? Okay. They have tools. They take what's around them and they create little homes. Birds do such things as that.
You know what you're saying is wrong.
So I'd say, all right, so I say that, like, hey, if I had a spaceship and went to another planet, that I wouldn't find animals that could be creative to the extent of humans. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Do I get to say anything?
Wait, you do, but I want to fire back. Okay, so really quick, the idea of plethora of beautiful kinds of animals within creation, so many that we don't know about.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they don't serve a function for human life, right?
Right.
This is, ecosystems, right? Like there are bugs all the time that we're like, oh, what possible benefit could this bug have? And it turns out, oh, it helps against malaria. And that's a thing. So me saying, all right, like there's stuff that we discover that human beings will never see. That doesn't mean they don't have a function for human beings, right? So like when we look at the creation story in Genesis 1, humanity is placed at the apex of creation, at least in the world that we know.
Yep.
Right. So it would seem, and God entrusts said creation to them, right? So it would seem like yes, God is smart. Yes, He's creative beyond all of our comprehension. But all of what we know seems to fit within this narrative of God made, and He made us, and we fell, and He's in the process of redeeming us for His own glory. But somehow within His glory is our restoration and eternity with Him. So things that don't really fit within that don't seem to have a place in the scriptures.
Well, this is where I would point to our Why Do Christians Think Dogs Go to Heaven podcast, if you've not.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then the question becomes, does everything need a redemptive arc? Do animals just die? Like we talked about that. And that, I think, fits into the aliens too, so that if we had other creatures that came from other planets, does that mean that what Christ did for us, He's doing for them? Like,
all right.
Not necessarily, right?
So here's my question.
Like we're being yes.
Here's my question. All right. I got a couple things I want to say. So, Burt, I just love how uncomfortable Josh is making you.
He totally is.
And so, like, even though, like, before we started this episode, I definitely would have lined more with you. I'm like, oh, well, I think I'm on Josh's side this episode.
You lying false prophet.
So number one, it only took God 6 days to make everything. The earth and the heavens.
Yeah.
Yet we have pieces of scripture, the 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament before Jesus coming. Like, how many planets could God have created? Whole new ecosystems. The Bible is the story of Earth. Could God have created other Earths where they weren't dumb enough to get the apple, to eat the fruit? And there's other Eden planets around.
I think that becomes dangerous, and I don't blame you for thinking that way because of the toxicity that's being vocalized to my right. Problems that arise from that, number one, is then that begins to change what humanity is. Number two, it changes the revealed, it's called ontology, like the existence, like what God is. It changes that, right? So if God, the Son becomes incarnate, right, takes the body of a man, we start to ask questions, are there other members of the Trinity? And then we start to stray into, and the scriptures, I think, would be abundantly clear, no. We start to stray into territory that gets real heretical real quick.
I wouldn't go there.
Well, of course you wouldn't. Well, you want to avoid it so that your fraudulent argument isn't seen for what it is.
I would say, Mark, you might be onto something because let's look at.
I feel like I have each of you on my shoulders. It's like, oh yeah, Mark, keep thinking that way. Bert's like, no, it's heresy. Don't do it.
What is it? Genesis, is it 6 when the sons of God comes down? We have these free beings that make choices that can somehow be on our planet, choosing to see us and come down, right? Yes, we could be like, yes, angels, yes. But the point I'm trying to make is that here is this other creation that's not like humans, right?
Correct.
They are completely
Here's
different.
The error. I know what the error of your thinking is that Christ does not become incarnate for the quote unquote sons of God.
He does not.
Yeah. So like, I'm not arguing against the existence of a spiritual realm or beings existing that are beyond what we can see.
Oh, I mean, these Genesis 6, they saw them just fine. but yes, I get where you're going. I'm just saying the idea, the idea of like other things being able to interact with our world
Absolutely.
is absolutely, but and them coming from wherever they're coming from. So that the idea that there's other life forms that can interact with human forms that are not human.
Yeah, that's but if you take within the greater scope of Scripture,
Yep.
And I'm going to be, agree with them or not. The late Dr. Michael Heiser did a lot of work on this. He called the unseen realm. Basically, he argues for this thing called the divine council, that when you find in the Psalms, like, God takes his seat among the gods. What he's talking about is the idea of like there are angelic, we would call them angelic beings, that can come into the world. They transcend the world. They're spirit beings, but they can have bodies of flesh when they want to.
You said a sentence, takes his seat. God takes his seat among the gods.
Yes. Here,
so this is not from the Bible.
No, it is from the Bible.
It is from the Bible. What gods?
Yeah.
I thought there was just one God.
It gets interesting.
I'll get you the exact verse.
Super.
So it's Psalm 82 verse 1, which says, here, I'll get a translation that isn't weird. God has taken his seat in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. The idea is not that Christians are polytheists. It's not that we believe in multiple gods in that way. It's that God is greater than all other gods. So like,
gotcha.
Think about like the New Testament, like Paul will tell the Corinthian church, don't worship idols, because what you're actually what are idols? They're other deities of other religions. And Paul goes, they're actually demons in disguise.
Okay.
Right. So the idea is there may be spiritual entities, but it's not like, they have a thing that God doesn't have. More, it's he's above all of them and may actually delegate or have judgment upon or through them.
So it's just using the language of what other people call, like these people call them gods, and he's just using their language against them. Like God is
no. So
this confirms aliens for me. I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, because that's right. It's like I think if I remember that chapter well, it's like there's the idea is God is one of a kind. Like there's no one else like him, but he has these almost like a board, I guess you could say, where he delegates authority and puts different kinds of beings in charge of the earth. And
or creation.
Creation.
You see that with the angels and stars.
See that? He puts other things in charge of other pieces of land in all of creation. But that's the science point.
Okay. So,
but yes, and then the idea is they've gone wrong or they've gone rogue.
Some do.
Some do. Yep.
The
start
angelic
committing sins.
HOA.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You can't build that here.
Well, yeah, it's a stretch, I admit.
Okay.
But not far-fetched.
Oh man. All right. So back to it. If we define, then we go into how do we define extraterrestrial? Because if we're in that space of it's the angelic with a knife, there he is. if we're talking about the angelic and beings that we would classify as spirit, spirit does not mean that it can't come into the natural.
This is true.
Right? They can defy physics, can do whatever, and I'm more than comfortable with that as an explanation for things like some UFOs. Like when you have things where like you have what looks like a ship, and the way that it stops would kill any living thing on board. Well, yeah, I think you might be dealing with something spiritual there, like when it's real, or if it's a secret aircraft from the government. Sure, if you're dealing with encounters of aliens in the sense of people being abducted and all that stuff. Do I think every story of that is false? No, I think when legitimate, probably in a demonic induced vision.
Yeah.
Because there's it's a whole other thing. There's a lot of correlation between those kinds of things and suddenly an interest and religious conversion or embrace of the new age, which is a whole different form of spirituality. So I would have no problem with saying like, hey, there's something to that in the sense of experiences not being just hallucinations, lies, or I don't know, doctored media. I would not take that so far as to say there are other planets where God has created beings like us. They're trying to tap through and make contact with us. Mm-hmm. What say you?
Yeah, I would agree with all that. The like us is where probably we have to be, because like us, image bearing. We have no reason to think that. It seems like God has specifically chosen humans to live with us.
Wait.
Yeah. Image bearing.
So you would agree that we are unique?
Absolutely. Humans are absolutely unique.
Okay.
Created to bear the image of God, to live with God. He's chosen us to be his sons. But he also has other creatures that exist that he has not chosen the same thing. So image bearing does not negate like other living things that will never have the same or similar experience that we will have with God. So like the marriage to Christ, the unity, there are creatures that will never have that. They will look at what we have. And so to say, then for me, so then that doesn't negate, like, so if I were to take an aircraft and went to another planet and saw animals, that wouldn't have any effect on the fact that what the Bible says is true for me, because God is a creator. He's loves to create. So sure. Like me, if it could talk to me, that wouldn't freak me out either. I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Because it doesn't mean that it bears image. And it doesn't mean that other animals can't communicate with me that I know on Earth.
So that's, I mean, that segues into kind of where I'm at on the whole topic.
Yeah.
Is like, I don't have an answer. The Bible isn't against it. The Bible isn't for it.
Right. Yep.
Like you can create your own adventure and say, oh, well, it doesn't say it doesn't.
Right. Yep.
And so what that says to me is that whether it exists or not doesn't affect the text.
No. Right.
Not at all.
Correct. Like if somehow we made contact with something from another planet,
race. Yep.
My first thought would be what you alluded to, Burt, about something spiritual or something demonic, and that's like kind of going into more of the uncharted territory once again. Like, oh, well, then how do you justify that? It's like, well, I don't know, because like it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
mine would be, those are animals. They're not like us. And so
pretty smart animal.
Space whales.
Yeah.
They're using echolocation, Burt.
Wow. He's referenced
I would even say
Rebels, and well done.
Yeah, and this is, we are speculating here. Let's right. The Bible doesn't say for it, against it. It doesn't even mention anything. So this is very speculative. But if aliens do show up, I would, in my head, my immediate thought would be, animals where sin is different for them, the same way sin's different for my dog. Like I would look at it like that. Right.
You might got me.
Yeah,
you might got me.
See, so right, it would not affect the text, and actually for me, it would highlight it very much, because it would say, "Man, we are so unique. God has done something so special for mankind, and like, wow, we should be amazed to adopt us. That's wild. He has all this creation, and He took us, the fallen ones, the ones made from dust, to bring to glory like that." That's to have His Son come and die on this earth, on this cross, would just be.
I can't get there, man. I can't get there, because I think it does a few things. Number one, So what we see happening in the scriptures, I think, is a very, very clear cosmic war, right? It's not just over the earth, it's over creation, right?
Yeah.
So it seems odd to me that there would be essentially a planetary Switzerland. Right. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think the battleground is so set for here. And we could say, all right, well, the Bible doesn't speak about every facet of existence. And I would say that's absolutely true. Like, the Bible doesn't tell me how to change the oil in my car. But I still need to change the oil in my car, right? And yet what it speaks about the nature of what life is and what creation is, I think it doesn't give space for the idea of extraterrestrials in the way that we would picture them. But that's not to say that there aren't entities, the sons of God that you referenced, I think fit within the framework of the angelic. When we expand our view of the angelic being not just messengers, but able to interact with the physical world. Although it's interesting to note that the ones you referenced in Genesis 6, that seems to be a one-time thing, and actually they fall under the judgment of God, and they're, according to the New Testament, like those specific angels who did that stuff are in chains, like locked up, because that's just not a way that they were allowed, or rules that they were to play by with creation.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, and that's the part I think where my line gets really fine. Like it's not that like God has created other image bearers or other things like us. It's that those, if there were aliens, they're like my dog. They're like bears. They're like the smartest.
Far off somewhere existing, but have no interaction with here.
Probably couldn't maybe see because I'm limited in what I know intelligence is, because the only form of intelligence I know is ours. Like I don't know any other form. So what would it mean for something to exist that is completely different from my world, for that to have intelligence and still be an animal? I'm lost. So I could say that's a possibility, and that may include variations of ability that I've never seen before.
All right. What do you guys think about people who think that that God is an alien?
They're crazy.
That like when the cloud came to the mountaintop and a loud voice spoke.
So many things wrong with that. so many things wrong with that. Where do you even start? So many. You could say.
I think we can unite on this.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're 100%. Yeah.
I think a few things. One, not attack, but a skepticism towards biblical presentations of God does not remove the problem of the existence of God for that person. And what I mean by that, it's not that God's existence is a problem, but just in terms of like, there are things they have to grapple with. All right. So if you say, all right, like everything that we know about God in the Old Testament, it's an alien, using fancy toys, deceiving people, or people misunderstanding events, it doesn't solve the existence of the universe. Right. Mm-hmm. So, okay, we know the existence, or we know the universe came into being. No matter what philosophy you take, whether that be a creationist within Christendom, believing in a literal 6 days, or a Christian who believes that that's allegorical, or a person who's not a Christian who believes in Big Bang, right? All of the that's kind of the scope. Nobody believes anymore that the universe is eternal, that I'm aware of. That used to be thought of, and now that's just widely rejected. So it doesn't get rid of the idea of, well, there must be a first cause, and no matter what you take things back to, you have to have a first cause, right? No, I think what's revealed in the universe lends a lot of credence to the idea of the Christian God, and I say that because, all right, we live in a material universe, which means whatever started the universe has to be immaterial or beyond material. Okay, we live in a universe where there is time and things progress in time, which means whatever created the universe has to be beyond time, i.e. eternal. Okay, so spirit, eternal. Okay, we're tracking so far. We live in a universe with a lot of intention. Okay, so I mentioned earlier the stuff about like Earth and its place in the galaxy. What this would infer is that whoever created the universe cares about what happens in it. So personal, also intelligent. It would take a tremendous amount of understanding to be able to create. Okay, personal, spirit, eternal, cares down to the biggest detail. I think love is reasonable to conclude. Well, if there is that kind of level of care, it means that creator probably hasn't abandoned said creation, which means the creator would be personal and therefore probably revealing him or itself to creation. You can reject the Christian God. I wouldn't. I think the evidence is best for the Christian God. But saying, hey, it's just an alien who played some tricks doesn't solve the problem of a creator. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's good.
Yes.
Wow, we all agree.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And plus, I mean, like, such a vastly superior being.
Yeah.
Why would it need to pander to us?
Yeah.
We would be like ants, if that,
Yes.
compared to what it could do, and it would just dominate and
Right.
rule. Like, yeah, we
Right.
would be in trouble.
But then we take it to, okay, why the Christian God versus other gods? I think the evidence is best for the Christian God, okay? I.e. the man Jesus Christ, right? Like the Bible is abundantly clear that if Jesus rose from the dead, be a Christian. If he didn't, don't. Okay. Well, the resurrection of Jesus Christ is something that I think can be easily attested to in Scripture, or not in Scripture, in history, in evidence. There's some really big questions about, well, if it didn't happen, then why this? And so suddenly the supreme knower who doesn't need to be known but would choose to reveal himself becomes extremely personal very, very quickly. I think this best fits with the Christian God.
Yeah. So let's sum this up here.
Let's.
So I think, the question whether aliens exist. My fine little line, I would say creatures exist, possibly. And that would be perfectly fine for me. That God, in his creativity, could have made other animals in other planets that we will never see.
Okay.
You would say alien is a loaded word,
Yes.
and you are choosing to
right. And this is where
redefine.
this is where me and Burt would agree. If we're talking about aliens from movies, I don't foresee that happening.
Okay.
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 Yeah, because for many reasons, one, it seemed like God made the universe in such a way where the amount of energy you would need to travel these distances is beyond a creature's ability to make. It appears that way. It just appears that way.
William Shatner went on he was one of those first people who got to do the space, what do they call that? Civilian, like space. Commercial space trip. And he has like a famous quote of like, he was Captain Kirk from Star Trek. Like he's the guy about going out and venturing into space. And his response after leaving the Earth was like, oh my gosh, it's just black nothingness. we need to preserve this little tiny rock that we have because there's nothing out there.
I can see that.
He realized how small the Earth was when he got farther away from it.
Yeah. And I can say too, to mine. So if science lands on another planet, finds a little piece of germ, doesn't change anything the scriptures have said for me.
Okay. I can gel with all of that, actually. Because then you could say, all right, what is it? It's God's stewardship of creation on the earth. Hey, maybe there's a place where human beings can go to continue to thrive, right? I could get with the idea of life beyond what we know here within the framework of the Genesis stuff that we're talking about. We're like the sons of God, spiritual entities, that kind of thing. I'm good with that. I'm not good with little green men or grays or whatever existing like us somewhere else as just sort of separate, created humanoids.
Yeah.
That I think is more problematic.
Though I would be open
Yeah.
if they showed up. I'm like, dude, I'm going.
I'd go, demon.
All right.
Not today, the Antichrist. Not today.
Well, with that, hey, if you have ideas for future episodes or you want to hear us hash this out again, let us know. Email podcast@wearethebridge.org. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know if you believe in aliens. And
Throw some links on the comments section. We'd love it.
hey, thanks for watching.